Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to get this video out because I just finished watching Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and this is going to be a review of it and a possible rant because Sonic the Hedgehog is one of my favorite Sega games. I played the first game, second game, the third game I played actually. I didn't play Sonic CD. I played Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, and that was the last Sonic game I truly played. I think I tried to play one Sonic game that came out, but it was one of the recent games that was on PlayStation, but I didn't get myself far into it because I was getting kind of bored. Um, but yeah, Sonic, if you are a gamer, doesn't matter what age, if you're a gamer, Sonic is part of, in all honesty, the big three. It's one of the oldest games for the old consoles. Sonic is as popular and has so much credibility next to Mario. It was always the battle between Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, or Nintendo and the Master System. So this movie is something we thought we were never ever gonna see. I'm hoping that Sonic does a very good job, and we actually can get a semi version of Mario, Super Mario, and we get something really really cool with Mario. Now, I was very hesitant on this movie. I was part of the big complaint about how they designed the first Sonic design. I really hated it, but I love this new direction. I love this new look of Sonic. The director listened and he understood what the fans were complaining about. It looked very weird. With this one, it looked very close to the comic to the original design, and it was very cool. And he listened, and he made an executive change, and he changed it, and he got so much love for it, and a lot of people went to go see this movie more because of he made that change. Now, I'm gonna get into the positives and negatives. The positives of this movie was it was you felt the movie. You understood how Sonic felt. I loved his interactions. I love the fact that he was all about the speed. I love the fact that he was alone in this planet and he didn't know what to do, and he was trying to run away, and they gave Sonic a very good backstory, and I really liked it. Um, and it felt close to the original game storyline, because there's a lot I'll go into about that, and it's gonna go from review, and then I'm definitely gonna make another movie. I'm sorry, make another make another video about the story of Sonic, because there's a lot that they covered and they actually grazed upon. But I think that because of how popular this movie is, they're gonna get a sequel. This movie's gonna get a sequel. There is no way. This movie's made a great killing, and that's mainly because of the fact of people liked the how homely Sonic was, and it felt close to the Jabeel White version that we saw in the cartoons, and they did it very very well. But that version that they did in the cartoon was an older Sonic. He already had a massive understanding of what he can do. He was already an experienced hero. But this one, he was just a budding hero himself. But he's not a hero. He just runs around and he takes on an idiot with robots, and he just takes it out. The other positive, I love James Marsden in this movie. He didn't feel he felt like he played the part right, and he did the great level of comedy. And I think that he's he should be in that niche now. He should have that great niche. He should be in these type of movies. I think he'll do very very well, and he could play those parts very very well. Um, I love how they did his powers, and the fact that he can conduct energy into himself. He can conduct energy himself, and I have a feeling that by them using that, there's a lot more they can do, because these rings that they introduced in this movie have a lot more than what Sonic knows. There's a lot more than Sonic knows, and that he doesn't know. I'm sorry, that he doesn't know about these rings. And there's a lot of stuff they did in the beginning of the movie that makes you go, oh, okay, that's gonna come back and deal with it. So I have a huge suspicion that they're gonna do very very well with this. And if they don't go completely off the rails with the storyline and keep it concise and keep it pinpoint onto what they're trying to tell us, I think they're gonna have a very solid trilogy on their hands, and I think that Sonic can be that one video game movie that all of us can go, damn, they finally got it right. And I think that Sonic is a very easy storyline. It's not a very complex storyline. Neither is Mario. It's a very simplistic storyline. And I think that if they do it right, then all of us can really go, okay, this is gonna be fun. Um, um, I actually enjoyed the comedy in it a little bit. There's certain comedy here that really upsetted me, and there's other comedy in here that really, really worked. And it worked on the form of Sonic. It worked on the realm of James Marsden's character, and it worked well for the side people that were a part of it. And that's why I really liked about this movie, and I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Now, here's the negatives. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was a massive negative for me. I think that he was the worst person to play Dr. Robotnik or Eggman. Now here's a little bit of a Japanese English thing here. In Japan, he's supposed to be called Eggman, not Dr. Eggman, but Eggman. And the reason why he's called Eggman is because he's very rotund and he has the body of an egg. That's it. He has a body of an egg. So they called him Eggman. But when he got here to America, they said, what the hell? So they called him Dr. Robotnik. So what they did in this movie is they gave him both. And I thought that was really cool. That was one thing I thought that was really cool, positive. But the negative is I hated how Jim Carrey played this character. I really hated it. I thought that they were going to make Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, he was the straight shooter. He's very intelligent, eccentric, but he's not goofy. They made him goofy. What they did with what Jim Carrey did is what Johnny Depp did with all of his other characters. He brought his own personal comedy into it, and it completely just destroyed the character. If you guys like Jim Carrey, great. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I don't want Jim Carrey comedy in a movie where the villain is supposed to be a little serious. This guy is supposed to be serious. They made him goofy. They made him that he's smart as hell, which that's what he is. Robotnik is smart. He's very, very smart. But he's a straight shooter. It's one of the main reasons why he loses to Sonic, because he's not a goofy guy. He's not goofy. He comes off goofy because he does some goofy things. But Jim Carrey puts so much eccentric goofiness into his, it just threw the whole character off. Dr. Robotnik is supposed to be a frightening dude. He's supposed to be scary, but he's supposed to also be very direct. Like, hey, he doesn't trust humans as much as he can spit into a wind. That's why he creates robots. And that's why I've been like, okay, I'm not saying Jim Carrey needs to do what he did in that movie 6, or in what he did in the Spotless of the Mind movie or Truman Show. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he needs to take it a little bit more seriously and take the character a little bit more seriously, because the character is a serious, direct character. He's eccentric, he's egotistical, he's not goofy. They made him goofy, and they hid his goofiness. The fact is that he tries to be serious about it. And it's like, no, he's a serious person. He's a straight shooter. He has some levels of dry humor, and that would have been perfectly fine. They could have made him like Batman. He's a dry humor person. Very dry, because he's very intellectual. He thinks that his jokes are way above your levels of jokes. And that can come off pretty damn funny. That to me really took me out of Robotnik. I didn't like his Robotnik. If you guys liked it, great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hated his Robotnik. If he was serious and he came in with his dry humor and tried to do things a little bit in a if he toned down the goofiness and toned up his seriousness and while he was trying to be serious, goofy things were happening, I think that he would have been a lot more credible as a villain. He would have been a lot more credible. I would have been very happy with his character. I'd have been like, okay, Jim Carrey's cool. He's perfect as Robotnik. Perfect. But the moment he came in, I knew they're gonna make him goofy, and he was goofy. He came in trying to do liar liar, Not Dumb and Dumber. I'm sorry, Liar Liar, The Mask, and some of the things he did in what he was doing in Living Color. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, oh my god, it was terrible. It took me out of the movie. No, it took me out of the scene, not the movie. It took me out of the scenes he was in. It took away the credibility that he's dangerous against Sonic. Sonic should be scared to death of him. They should have been scared to death of this dude. He made a vessel that was able to destroy a city if he wanted to. He could destroy a whole city, and he was given powers by the United States government. What? He has a van. He has a truck that is filled with so many robots. It's stupid. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things in this movie by his character that made absolutely no sense. They made him too goofy. And by putting Jim Carrey in there, he was putting in that whole Jim Carrey goofiness into it, and it just took me out of the scenes with him. And it took me out of the last battle. The final battle should have been awesome. It should have been awesome. And it was awesome because of Sonic. It wasn't awesome because of the fact is we had Dr. Robotnik versus Sonic, and Sonic is now, and Robotnik is saying, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna destroy you, all of you. I'm gonna kill all of you. You guys are all terrorists of the United States government. And he's just about to destroy the whole city. And Sonic says, okay, I'm done. And he just takes him out. But they didn't do that. Now, I don't know if that's a director's decision, but I believe that when the director got Jim Carrey, he knew what he wanted out of Jim Carrey. And I think that's more of a director's decision and a Jim Carrey decision. And it was terrible. Even the scenes where he was with James Marsden, I felt that James Marsden could have punched his lights out like it was nothing. And he did a couple of times. And I'm like, what? This guy talked about he has like 15-degree martial art belts and this and that. I'm like, dude, this dude should have been serious. He should have been able to knock James Marsden's character all over the place. He should have been no one you mess with. But he was so goofy that you just couldn't believe how credible of a physical artist he was. And that was the terribleness of it. This guy is, James Marsden's character could have knocked him out and literally walked away. He could have put 2 bullets in him and said, dude, forget that. Pop, that'd have been a Robotnik. He was so incredible as a villain, it was terrible. Because of how goofy he was. It made no sense. It truly made no sense. I love the fact that they introduced the Enchillas. They introduced Knuckles as people, and we're gonna get them again. I have a huge suspicion we're gonna get them again. And we got Sonic's backstory. We got the whole Enchillas. Now I don't know if they're gonna introduce the Chaos Emeralds or why she has those rings and why she gave those rings to Sonic. What the heck, there's a lot right there. And I think that the Enchillas want those rings so they can protect the Chaos Emeralds. Now, there's a lot of stuff we don't know because it all got revealed, I believe, in Sonic Adventure 3 about Robotnik and Sonic and the Chaos Emeralds and everything. It got revealed in slowly in the Sonic Adventure games what the heck is going on. And like I said, I will talk a lot about that in another video. But this movie, it was not bad. If you want my scale, if it's 1 to 10, this movie is a 7. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, this movie is a 7.5 to an 8. I have to watch it again and really tone away Jim Carrey's nonsense. I might just give it an 8. Just on the fact is they kept true to who Sonic is. He's a very fast character. He lives life for the fullest. And in this first movie, he just wanted to have friends. He did not want to be alone. And I loved it. It was a very good, heartfelt story with it. But the villain was useless. The villain was useless. They could have not introduced Robotnik, and they could have just basically said that the whole situation was the United States government coming after Sonic, and not introduce Robotnik at all. And that would have been perfectly fine. I think that would have been a lot better. Because how goofy Jim Carrey was in his movie, he was so incredible as Robotnik, it was terrible. And a lot of people complained about the fact is that, this is not the traditional Robotnik. And they said, whoa, he's going to become that Robotnik we all know and love. Really? Well, at the end of the movie, he does have the bushy mustache. He shaved his hair off, and he has the aviator goggles. That's it. and he was wearing his suit. That was it. So it was terrible. That's not Dr. Robotnik. Dr. Eggman is supposed to be a fat, rotund dude. He's supposed to look like an egg. Now, I'm not saying Jim Carrey needs to gain like almost close to 100 pounds. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, don't tell fans that we're gonna get the Robotnik. And I'm like, he's not Robotnik. They made him goofy and they made him insane. Yes, he's eccentric, but he's not insane. He has a mad scientist instilled in him, but he's not insane. He's very coherent about what he wants to do. And like I said in this other video, I will explain a lot more because I don't want this to be a massive spoiler. I want you to go see the movie. I do want you to go see the movie. As much as I hated Jim Carrey in this movie, you guys might get some funniness out of it. But I think that Jim Carrey will, in a way, will pull you out of the movie because he's not credible as a villain. Never credible. The reason why Robotnik has lasted for close to every game of Sonic was mainly on the fact that he was dangerous. He was very dangerous. He created Mecha Sonic, for God's sakes, to take down Sonic. He created a robotic version of Sonic to take him out. He's very dangerous. He's very eccentric. Very eccentric. But he's a genius. Ugh. So I'm again, it's an 8. It's an 8. I can tune out Jim Carrey. I can take him out of the movie, and I can still say Sonic versus the United States government is perfectly fine. And also, they can be using Robotnik's technology. They can use Robotnik's technology, but you didn't have to introduce Robotnik at all in this whole movie. It'd be perfectly fine. He's just dealing with generals and corporals and captains. He's just taking out their technology. He's just taking out Robotnik's technology. Perfectly fine. I'd have been perfectly fine throughout the movie. But having Robotnik in there with Jim Carrey, it just took a lot of the scenes away. He was uncredible to me. He was not dangerous. He wasn't dangerous. And it's terrible. So, but still, this movie's an 8 to me. I really liked it. Just on the other side of the spectrum, Sonic was phenomenal. I'm hoping that we do get a sequel. And I hope this movie makes a good buttload of money, but we have to see how this virus goes. But this movie's going to make a buttload of money. I'm hoping that they break some records. I think it did break some records. I hope it breaks even more records. I hope that Sonic is the movie that actually gets people hoping that we get a great set of video game movies. I'm hoping that this Mortal Kombat movie we're going to get pretty soon is going to break records. I'm hoping, because the one movie I want, and a lot of people say, oh, I want Gears of War. I want this. I want that. No. There are 2 movies we need. There are 2 movies we need live action. Legend of Zelda and Metroid. Those movies would break bank. You got a fantasy movie and you had a fantasy movie in Legend of Zelda with tons and tons of backstory already presented by Nintendo. Nintendo put out a book with all of its history. And they can easily start with Skyward Sword. They can start with Skyward Sword. And then they could go down to Ocarina of Time. They can easily do it. And Metroid can start off with the first Metroid game. And give us a female-led movie. And it's basically in the vein of Aliens. Oh, man. Of Alien? Oh, boy. That's going to be fun. A horror fest movie? Yeah, that'd be great. And then we might get into like Super Mario, like a Mario movie that's not so goofy. That'd be fun. I think a lot of people will love to see a Legend of Zelda. That game deserves a live action movie, but it needs to be done right. And I think that Sonic should be that platform movie that gets everybody on the board with, we finally got a good video game movie. It's not terrible. I just don't believe Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. He's just terrible. He's horrible in my personal opinion. He was uncredible as a villain, a dangerous villain for Sonic to deal with. It's like, dude, he's going to keep coming back and he'll just be an annoyance. Like he's going to be like a gnat. Sonic defeated him, made him look stupid, and you have oh god, nah, I don't want to get into it. But hey, like, comment, share, subscribe down below, hit the bell. I'm gonna have one more video out. I'm gonna talk about one movie that I was able to see, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoy. All right, you guys have a great one, and Sonic the Hedgehog 8. Thanks.